was like, if I fuck it up, I'll let Ken do it so that if he fucks it up.
What are you gonna
and then
do?
it's nobody's fault. We're live. This is the start of the podcast.
Oh,
How
good,
you doing
good,
today, Andy?
good.
It all stays in.
It all stays in. Nothing ever gets bleeped.
That's
Or
the
cut.
same. That's the same with our show. We don't edit.
One take and
Yeah.
we're out.
Yeah, there's no reason to. So now that you guys have heard two unfamiliar voices, today we have. You guys want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Ken Dowd,
Hi, I'm Will Sattelberg.
and together we are Kenspiracy.
It's true.
Kenspiracy. So Kenspiracy is their podcast and YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Andy, how are you? I haven't talked to you probably since last week.
Well, you're a busy guy working at the lumber yard. Paul Bunyan
hard to catch,
style.
you know?
Hard to catch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Interpol's been
Always-
after him
always moving.
for years. I don't have to tell.
Don't
I
get
don't
me
have to tell
tempted
you
because
two about that. You guys know all about running.
I started watching White Collar again last night, so don't even get me tempted. I'll start stealing any type of art you guys tell me to.
Why would anybody tell you to steal any art?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like a fantasy of mine to be a white collar criminal.
You'd be so bad at that, Matthew.
I'd be unbelievable at it. I could talk my way out of any situation. Put me in a scenario right now, and I'll talk my way out of it.
Okay.
It's guaranteed.
You are.
Yeah, give me the scenario, and then let Ken and Will role play it for me.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll set this up. So, Ken and Will, you guys are two security guards at a museum. Matthew, you're trying to steal a statue that's about 12 inches tall. It's Ming Dynasty.
Bridget Bruce.
It's very valuable, and you're trying to just walk right out with it. Action.
Okay.
Here we go.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Put that down.
Well, I was I was just coming to look around the
What's
museum.
going on? What's going on here?
Bruce, look at this guy.
Oh,
He's trying to steal.
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, that's I brought this actually.
It
I
was
was
right
gonna
out
show-
where the frame was missing.
Yeah.
It's as if
No,
there's an
no, no.
outline.
There's
There's a hammer in your hand.
That frame. No. See, what happened was.
What are you doing? We got
What
cameras
happened was-
everywhere. 24/7.
No, yeah. What happened was somebody must have angled that camera, and the way that it was hitting the light from the different camera, weird reflection made it look like I was actually taking the piece. I actually came in with it. I set it down in that display case, so I wanted to see what it would look like if I were to sell it to the museum. But instead, I figured I'd just walk out with it. I was going to kind of shove it in my pants, but then I figured you guys would be like, "Oh, he's stealing." So I
No,
figured
man,
if I
this
just
flies.
walk out
This
with it, you'll
flies.
know that I.
Yeah, we're good. You know what? Yeah, that checks out.
That checks out.
We've had this
Thanks,
issue
guys.
a couple times, actually.
Yep. You guys have a good one. Thank you. And that's how I fucking do it, Andrew. We nailed. Both parties nailed that. That's how I would be as a security guard too, and that's what I would do if I was an art thief.
He's got my vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Congratulations. You sure proved me wrong.
Yep.
my
Fuck
God.
you.
Matthew, when we had Pat Ryan on a couple weeks ago, you asked him, because Ken and Will and I, how I know them is we worked at WNYF together back in the day. You asked Pat Ryan when he was on, who I also know from WNYF, if he had been my boss at the time, which he never was. But Ken actually was my boss when I was there. He was the chief
You were
engineer,
Ken's
and I
bitch?
was his assistant. That's not the term that I would use. But, I mean, if you look at the logs, if you look at the receipts, that was on there. That was
All right.
written
So
on
now
there.
Ken's on the hot seat. How is Andrew as an employee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
All right,
doesn't have
so-
a bad. He's not going to say a bad word about
This
me.
is the performance review. It's
Yeah.
like 4 years in the making.
Yeah. His exit interview. This is Andrew's exit interview.
Yeah.
I've
his
had friends. I've been the boss of two friends, and I'll say Canada was the best. of the two.
And I was not the other
Yeah,
friend. I'll
yeah.
be clear about
That was
that.
gonna be my next question.
Defend
That was-
myself.
Our other friend set the bar very low.
Like basement.
That's where
So,
I
like-
thrive. That's where I come in and start
So I'm
thriving.
not saying
You're
he
good
was
at-
great, but he
you're good
was
in
better
basements.
than awful. Yeah.
Okay.
He
As long as
showed
you're
up.
better
He
than
showed
awful.
up. That was really it.
And that's half
And
the
that-
battle. Find good work these days.
And that is perfect. We were talking about, man, what did you ask me about the other day, Matthew? Death stats? Like, what would your
Oh,
death
okay.
stats be?
So can I explain this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah. Because I think I know what
All right.
Ken's death stat would be. That I thought of you, Ken, the second Matthew
Okay,
told
so
me
this
about
is exciting. Well, you haven't heard my death stat though. The reason that this conversation came up. So are we good? We got a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
lag on my screen. Sorry.
You'll
So
be
for
all
Ken
right.
and Will here, I texted my brother the other day. It was fairly late at night, and
Yeah, it was 3 in the
I had
morning.
been out, and yeah. So I had this idea. The previous day, I was in a pool, and my friend and I, we had a little, pool football. Like you get wet, and you can throw 'em, good fun. And so we had this idea where we were about 20 feet apart, and we would start counting, like from 1 to 5. And once the count would start, so we were on the same rhythm, I would go underwater into a handstand form with just my feet up in the air. So I obviously can't see anything at this point. And then when we both hit 5, I would close my feet, and he would have to time the throw so that I would close my feet on the football and catch the football with my feet while doing an underwater handstand. And after longer than I would like to admit that we did this for, I got it. I caught the football with my feet. And so the day after, we were out drinking with a bunch of our friends, and we were telling them this story, and they're like, no, that's bullshit. That never happened. And I was like, well, you know what? When I die, my number one stat will forever be that I'm probably the only person in the world who's ever done that. So then we started talking about, okay, well, what are other, like, what's your death stat? Like, what are you the only person to ever done, or if it's something you've done once or something you think you're the top 1% in, like, what would your death stat be? And that's how this conversation came up. Is that the path that you thought we were on, Andy?
Not exactly, I guess, but that sounds about right. I mean, I had the idea, that basically sounds about right. Like, I guess what a death stat would be. Like, your death.
But was that not impressive? That I did
Yes,
that
that's
with the
very
football?
impressive,
I just want,
Matthew.
Did you guys just have like nothing else to do that day, or?
No, we
They were actually.
I worked,
They were supposed
and then-
to be volunteering at the children's hospital, but they decided this was more worthwhile.
Yeah. I worked, then we went golfing, and then we were supposed to. We had to do this. We had to look for an Airbnb for a vacation we were going on, and we had to find a new apartment. Those were our two tasks. But the previous day, I had also gotten industrial milkshake machine, like one of the ones with the metal cups, and like you're at an ice
I've
cream
been to
place,
Friendly's
because when you
before, I
make
get
a
it.
milkshake
Yeah.
at home with like a blender or some shit, it sucks. It's either too watery, too chunky, so you need So then we were like, we have to make milkshakes, and it ended up being a long day.
Yeah, sounds
But,
pretty tiresome.
Yeah, so that happened. All right, so Andy, sorry now that we're off track. What was what do you think Ken's death stat
Ken,
would be?
if I had to guess what your death stat would be, it would be, if they were listing off stats at your funeral, and Will, I'm sure you've got a better one in mind, but this is what I would think that Ken's would be. It would be like, Ken Dowd, number of cows tipped, number of machines fixed.
Okay.
Number of cows tipped, 20, I assume. Number of machines fixed, uncalculable. Number of shoes owned, 1.
What? Yeah. It's number of shoes owned, and the number's like 50,000, but the dollar amount spent is like $30.
That sounds about right. I was, where the hell was I the other day? I was at Aldi's, and they had a pair of sneakers at Aldi's for $13, and I was like, I think that's a little pricey for Ken's taste. Not because he can't afford it, but just because he doesn't want to show off.
You want to talk about your Nokis?
Yeah, I thought those would come up. I bought a pair of Nokis, which if you're not familiar, they're not Nikes. They're fake Nikes.
I thought that was like a pasta shoe.
So they're Nikes, but they have 2 swooshes, so they can't get sued for a copyright.
There's like a hyphen above it. It's like, no, that's not the Nike swoosh. That's a Nike swoosh with like a little guy hanging above it.
But it's really small, so you can't
really small.
You can't notice it unless you're like paying attention. I bought the Nokis for about $5, and they lasted me about 2 weeks, and they were the best 2 weeks I've ever had. They were a good pair of shoes.
Where did you get them?
It's a good 2 weeks.
Oh, Wish.
Oh, is that,
The
oh my
internet,
god!
yep.
Is that like something for kids with a terminal illness that you're spamming to get free stuff?
Man, I wish.
No, you don't know what the app Wish is?
No, I've never heard of the app Wish.
I do.
Wish is a site where you can get really cheap stuff from China, and it's normally not exactly what you're buying.
I have heard of Wish. I think
It's like
somebody I know.
It's the new version of AliExpress because AliExpress no longer exists.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yep,
to
R.I.P.
AliExpress. Yeah.
Big.
It took.
I have a friend. Speaking of shoes I had a friend one time that ordered Jordans from AliExpress, and they sent them a Jordan box with just a bunch of sponges in it. No shoes. Never got the
Sponges?
shoes. Just sponges.
Like cleaning sponges?
Sponges, like dish.
That's a deal,
And
though.
the sponges were
I think we know what
like
Ken's
they
next pair
used
is
the
gonna be.
sponges. Yeah. He's just going to buy sponges and tape them to his feet.
But Will, what do you
If
think?
it works, it works.
It's plausible.
Will, what do you think your death stat would be? Do you I know it's
Oh,
a hard
man.
thing to think of, but I'm just curious if you have one.
I don't. You have anything for me?
I
You
can
got
spit
one
some
for
more
me? Hit
examples
me.
if you want.
Number
Oh, okay,
of
here we go.
times lost and then found keys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
That's a good death stat.
it's number of times I've asked Ken if he's seen my wallet.
Yeah. Both good death stats.
No, he's
Andy, what's
right.
your death stat?
Oh my gosh. My death stat would be it probably honestly have something to do with number of gushers consumed. Like weekly,
Consumed?
daily.
Yeah, we talked about gushers.
I have eaten a lot of gushers in my lifetime, so I would guess it'd have something to do with gushers.
In your tenure?
Gosh, it could be like number of times that I lied to someone that I couldn't do something when I really just didn't want to do it. Like I said, I was busy.
Which is just a horrible
Are you
trait.
familiar with that?
Yeah, no, I know what he means. I know what he means. No, again, I can't come in
just
that day.
above
Sorry.
horrible.
I'm just being honest. I'm not proud of that stat, but I think that it would be on, it'd be on the list.
Speaking of,
This is why the DARE program exists, Andrew. This is why kids in school are taught not to do drugs.
Unrelated, completely unrelated.
I have a question for you, Canada, or I guess I should call you the Canada that I know. Do you remember when we were filming hockey and we got pulled over in the parking lot?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that yesterday, actually.
Now that you no longer technically work for me, not that you really did, you can be honest. Were you under the influence of anything when that happened?
No.
All right.
Why did I seem
always
like I
wanted to
was?
know. A little bit.
No, because if we were going to, filming hockey, then I wouldn't have.
yeah.
Then I wouldn't have
All right.
been on anything. No, yeah,
But,
definitely,
we got
definitely
pulled
not.
over.
Definitely not that day.
Just wondering. Remember why we got pulled
Yeah, but
over?
what's the story behind
Yeah,
the pullover?
I think I remember why. Oh, you know what? No, I do, and you tell it, but I've got a lot more to say. I'm so glad that you're bringing this up.
It's because the officer thought my car was shitty, and he pulled me over and just shit-talked my car.
cruiser?
Yeah. He was like, son, you got a shitty car. You should get your car fixed. That was
And he
it.
gave you a ticket, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Do you remember how much it was for?
He did.
For having a shitty car. That's all it said on it.
I had a muffler that wasn't like technically attached, so I ran a steel cable under the car, through the passenger seat, through the driver's seat, and then clamped, and it wasn't going anywhere. It was industrial cable. But he said you can't do that, and he gave me a ticket.
Was that UP?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So their tickets don't mean shit.
Yeah, I never paid it. Like,
Oh God, don't even get me started. But yes, the first time I ever Ken had this PT Cruiser. What year was that car?
2003.
It was 2003 PT Cruiser, and I'm already a little weary about getting in a car with anyone that owns a PT Cruiser. And so, and Ken's car is, you know, it's so dirty. It's a complete mess on the inside. So I kind of, you know, I'm like shuffling. I'm trying to find the bottom of the car so I can rest my feet comfortably.
A lot of Mountain Dew bottles,
Mountain
like just
Dew.
like raising up to your knees. Yeah,
And
we've all been there.
and I see this like, and you know, Ken, he's a tech guy. He's got you know, equipment, tools, and stuff in there too. And there's this like piece of metal cable. So I try to like. It looks like it's sticking out of the door, so I try to pull it into the car and move it, and Ken goes, "Don't touch that!" He like screams at me and stops. I come to find that is holding the car together, this metal cable going underneath the car, wrapped around the inside. That was the first introduction, I think, into Ken's Jimmy rigging system that he has since perfected.
I tried to cross the border in that car, and the border patrol guy told me to never do it again because the cable can be seen in their cameras, and they thought it was a bomb.
Yeah, of course they did, dude. Why wouldn't they?
I was like, no, I'm not a terrorist. I just have a really shitty car. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's a ticket. That's a Canadian ticket. You could get the death penalty in Ontario for that, actually. So, you guys, like I said, I met Ken and Will at MYF. I worked with Ken a lot, and then Will, you graduated, so you kind of went around. But you guys met in high school, or did you meet before that? Because
Ken was in my 3rd grade class. Yeah.
Okay.
So we go.
Wow.
There's definitely a photo of us in like a reading circle together.
Were you guys friends?
That I used to
Were
have.
you guys friends in 3rd grade, though?
In 3rd grade, we were like fine. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't
There was
know.
a mutual respect.
Acquaintances. Yeah, there wasn't. I don't.
You never
Yeah, you know.
They would share Power Rangers toys and
Yeah.
you know, that's about it. Have you guys? There's a previous episode where we had a rapper on. His name, he goes by the name of Nate Spanish, and he was in, what was it, 1st grade with you, Andrew?
Yeah, he was in kindergarten and 1st grade, and I stole the Power Ranger from him in 1st grade. You can go back and listen.
Stole a brand new Power Ranger from him in 1st grade.
Well, it was the wolf from...
So that's the type of person that
awesome.
Andrew is. He steals toys. He steals toys from innocent kids, and he doesn't do anything for other people if he doesn't feel like it.
I did not mean to steal the Power Ranger. It was an accident. Anyways, so...
Speaking of
God.
weird things,
So-
I don't want to derail
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Of weird things that you do. I was listening to past episodes.
Okay.
Who eats a pizza on their fingertips like a weirdo?
Yeah.
First of
I
all,
also have this
hashtag
question.
pizza tipping is trending in North America.
Pizza tipping.
Hashtag
It's like
pizza
the
tipping.
weirdest
Not
thing
trending
in
in
the
North
world.
America. It's trending on
pizza tipping is a
Pornhub.
thing. Now, listen to me. I can't believe I have to defend myself again for pizza tipping.
Really?
Pizza tipping. So, I'm sure you guys had the same type of pizza in school. It's the
Yeah,
rectangle.
based on how
pizza,
you were
right?
describing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
There's no crust.
Right. It's just like a cracker. It's like a big cracker.
Just grab it.
No,
Piece
there's
of cardboard
Yeah,
with
yeah.
just sauce and cheese
and
on
the
it.
sauce and cheese covers the entire rectangle. I'm not gonna put my fingers in the sauce like that. I need the crust.
Why not side it? Go side.
I wasn't that smart of a kid, I didn't want to fold
Yeah,
it because I didn't want to. Look, I didn't want to. I didn't
No,
want
that's
the
fair.
cheese
I'm not a
to
pizza
start
folder,
coming,
so I
didn't want
understand
the
that.
cheese to start coming off of the pizza in a bad way, okay?
I guess I want to know, why didn't you at least, like, if you were so worried about it, use a fork and knife?
Because I'm not a fucking lunatic, Ken.
I'd rather eat it with a fork and knife than look like a weirdo holding my hands
It doesn't
up.
look weird. If I...
Like, you know those little hands that fit on people's fingers? Or like that Kristen Wiig used to use on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah,
is that her name?
the tiny hands. If I had,
that's how Andrew eats his pizza.
If I didn't tell you that I was pizza tipping, you never would have noticed. You wouldn't have seen it.
I would have noticed you holding it.
Yeah,
like
but then
this.
we
No,
would
I'm
have been
not
like,
holding
why
it
the
like this.
fuck
You
you
spread the
dropping your
fingers
piece
out
of
to
pizza?
balance it on there. Obviously, what do you think is happening here?
Well, now it's just not a
It's like,
talent.
hold
on.
This is impressive at least.
How can I?
I imagined you were only using one finger.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
grab a
spin it.
book.
I spin it, and then I take a bite, and then the corner comes back around. No, you hold it like this. This is how you hold it. For those of you who can't see, I guess you're gonna have to
Trying to
look it up
humble
on
brag
YouTube.
that you can read.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
all these
sick.
books back here. I stole
Yeah.
all these books.
He's always rubbing
from
that
other,
shit in my
from
face.
other kindergarten classmates of mine. Yeah, so I'd hold it like this. The trick was, because the pizza... God, I'm going to make myself sound so horrible. The trick was that because the pizza is the exact dimensions of the tray, the part in the tray where you put the pizza, the little indent, it was tough to get my fingers under it and get into the pizza tipping position. Because again, I didn't want to, if I
So that's the skill that you have to
hold
develop.
it like this, then my fingers are getting all saucy and it.
Yeah, but
and
go
again,
aside,
it
a
lifts up the
gentle
cheese.
side grab.
Like this? No, because then it squeezes in like that and it folds
But-
like that.
No, gentle. Be
I
gentle.
am being gentle by pizza tipping, Matthew.
No, but that's not
It is-
secure.
well, all right.
So now that we've gone off the wait, go ahead.
Sorry. I didn't mean to take you off the rails. I just really needed you to know that bothered me.
No, we need. Well, I have something to bring up from one of the podcast from one of your podcasts that I had listened to, and for those of you who don't know,
Kenspiracy.
their podcast,
Will you guys just
Conspiracy.
tell the premise of
can
the
be
show
found
real
on-
quick for everybody who knows? Cause
Talk about it real quick before we get into it.
Yeah. Well, it spawned as a TV show at Fredonia, and we did 2 seasons of that. And Ken and I talked about continuing it for years as a podcast, and we finally recorded an episode last summer, like in August, that was set during an apocalypse in a bunker. And we were kind of just keeping up with our fake news stories from the old TV show and doing sketches and stuff like that. And then we sat on that episode until a pandemic started. And then we were like, we have time now. Is it going to be in bad taste if we release this episode where we're in a bunker during an apocalypse? And we decided, no. So we play 2 fictionalized versions of ourselves. Set in a bunker together, who I guess kind of hate each other, but like in a comical way, in a lighthearted way. Whereas we just hate each other.
Yeah. There's no lighthearted.
No. That's it. We do
Well, I'm
sketches.
sold.
It's somewhat scripted, somewhat
Improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious
No, it's-
about that,
and it's-
'cause you could tell.
It's. I only had listened to one episode, but it made me laugh. It's damn funny.
Thank you.
It's definitely worth being checked out. I liked it a lot. But I have a question. Well, it's like a loosely based question because I don't actually know. I wanted to bring up the like star signs conversation that kind of it kind of features 2 episodes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the season finale episode with the whole Taurus never finding love and stuff
That's
like
so
that.
funny.
So I have a backstory behind
Oh
this.
God.
But I'm curious too, how was that scripted? Like, how deep did you look into astrology signs or zodiac
That's
signs
all
or whatever
you.
before having that conversation?
So that was a bit I wrote, and to be honest,
Okay.
the reason why it's Taurus is because I'm dyslexic and I have a hard time reading different words, and Taurus is easy, and that's not a joke. So if you notice, we skip like half the signs And I don't like stuttering on the podcast, so I only said the ones that I knew I could say when I'm reading them. That's the only.
Okay.
I didn't look into
That's
a goddamn thing.
Yeah, those are all
Well,
randomly assigned.
It almost felt like zodiac signs were real for a second when I was listening to it. Because last night I had somebody ask me, and this was the first time I've really been put on the spot about this from somebody who's passionate about zodiac signs, about like my birthday and my zodiac sign and like how I'm feeling and stuff like that. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know. I was like I don't know. I've never really looked into it. And then they showed me all this stuff, and then it was not even an hour later when I started listening to the podcast, and that was like one of the very first things you guys talked about. And so it was just oddly funny to me. So I was curious to if either one of you were actually really into zodiac signs or if it just came up as a bit on the podcast.
This feels to me
What,
like
Andy?
not the first time that Kenspiracy has predicted something. I don't know if anybody's like talked to you guys about some of that stuff, but in the first episode of the TV show, during Brendan Lynch's conspiracy segment, he talks about memes, and he refers to them. It's like an acronym for mind control something or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then turns out the like the Russians and stuff were like using memes to shift public opinion and stuff like years after the fact. And also, some of the other conspiracies on there are probably true.
We've been on the cutting edge of that for I mean like we did it again with the first episode of the podcast where we were like, wouldn't it be funny if we were stuck in an enclosed space with just each other?
If everybody was stuck inside for months.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Did you guys do this to us?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Guilty.
So what? I have two questions for you guys then.
Mm-hmm.
Two-parter. First of all, what's to come next? And second, is the Illuminati real? What's up with that?
Oh, Illuminati's real. Yeah, we defeat.
Okay.
We haven't really talked about the Illuminati at all on the podcast, but they're a big part of the show. The like main villain of our show is the leader of the Illuminati, who we're hoping he's played by our friend Teddy. We're hoping to get him on season 2 of the podcast, and then, God, I don't know what's next. What do you got?
Well, the logical step is always what's next is the moon. So we want to avoid that. We don't want to become predictable.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what's bigger than the moon? Maybe Mars.
We're going to Mars.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Elon Musk says if Elon Musk can do it, then you guys,
Man, yeah, we got it. It's all taken care of.
Yeah.
Now that would be funny. You and baby XAEX12 are going to be in a race to get to, so you can get to Mars first.
Oh,
this
it's gonna be
podcast for
us.
the richest
Oh,
baby
yeah.
in the world. Oh, I have absolutely no doubt. That would not surprise me one
Have you
bit.
guys ever thought about maybe running for public office as a duo and maybe bringing some of these conspiracies to light in a larger platform?
I feel like all of our stories are almost always bad news, with the occasional human interest story. Yeah.
Now, do you guys? This is going somewhere. Do you guys consider yourself from the Falls, or do you like from where you guys went to school? Do you not consider yourself from Niagara Falls?
No, I
would say
always
we're from Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
So
I mean, sometimes
we make,
I'll say Buffalo, but I like to say Niagara Falls.
we have made fun of Niagara Falls at least twice in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that offend you?
No.
See, I take big time offense. Andrew doesn't get offended, but I get offended. And I have a reason.
Oh, God.
What did you... Wait, I didn't hear this part, though. What specifically... You can throw a little slander at Niagara
it's
Falls.
like the first news story in the first episode.
Yeah.
It's literally the first thing we do in the show.
Yep, right out the gates.
The joke is basically after the apocalypse, you can't tell the difference from normal Niagara Falls and apocalypse.
Yeah,
Niagara
it's
Falls.
just kind of like evened out.
That's fair.
I guess so.
Hey,
We're working on it.
I
We're
mean,
working on it, dude.
there's some good and some bad, but at the end of the day, we have a giant waterfall and we have a giant landfill. So we're +2.
Best
That's
of both
+2 in my
worlds,
book.
baby.
And we grew up close to it, so we get it. I like to stay away from the falls, but
Well, I think I know
nothing
exactly why.
good ever happens to you there. Yeah.
I
Are we
know
going to the
exactly-
same thing?
I know exactly why Ken Dowd doesn't like to go to Niagara Falls, and that is because one time when he was there, he saw a ghost that told him that he had a black soul
Now,
and that he was going to hurt people.
Andrew, I gotta. Did you call it a ghost?
Because she was a ghost. I've heard the story a bunch of times, and I am positive that this woman that you spoke to, Ken, was a ghost.
Ken refers to her as a witch, and I think it's important that we note that there's a difference there.
Yeah, I
There is
don't
a
want
difference.
I don't want to get into it too much in case she listens, but a while back when some buddies and I were hanging at Niagara Falls, I think we were you weren't there, right? It was,
No.
It was, we were pretending to be tour guides, and we were trying to get money. We were very young. We weren't great people.
Yeah, he was like 21.
Yeah. we were just joking around. And this witch came up to us, and she read our auras.
She was a
And
ghost.
she told me I was gonna die when I was about 36. And I would bring happiness to a lot of people and sadness to even more.
And I can confirm that last part is true.
Wow.
The thing about
Wow.
you dying
That
when
is
you're
a,
36, I believe, because I've seen what you eat.
That is a dark thing for somebody. That's why I don't fuck with fortune tellers and witches and Ouija boards and shit like that. I don't want to know anything
gypsies.
about.
I don't go. I stay away from gypsies.
No gypsies. No gypsies. I don't want them to shrink me. I don't want them,
Is that a big fear of yours every day? Like, I hope I don't get shrunk today.
by a gypsy. Have you ever watched Borat? He's very concerned about gypsies. I saw that movie when I was young. My brain was still developing. I thought that gypsies, the two things that I was most worried about as a young child were gypsies and quicksand. And I have yet to run into either of them.
I can't believe you. I don't. Yeah, gypsies. We don't mess with
It
gypsies.
freaks me out.
I don't know about.
I don't want
being
somebody
shrunk
to.
by
You
them.
know why? Because if somebody told that shit to me, I would still be thinking about it. I would wake up every day and be like, I got 200 days. I got like 200 months till I'm 36, and I haven't hurt anybody yet. So pretty soon I'm gonna kill somebody and then I'm gonna die. That's how my brain would be thinking.
It was so long ago, and my buddies and I joke around about it so much that I don't remember if the age 36 is something she actually said or something we joked about. But in my head, I hear her saying it. So I can't confirm it was real, but she definitely did say that I was going to bring a lot of darkness and happiness. And I do think about
we're
it.
not
normally.
really
before-
focused on that part, Ken. We're more focused on the
The day
darkness
before
part.
the day before your 36th birthday, you should really celebrate just in case. That's all I'm saying.
I was going to get life insurance was my plan.
Yeah, that's not bad. Just to protect your $13 Aldi shoes. Or,
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Those shoes need a good home.
Yeah. Fair. And if you give them to the Salvation Army, the witch just might end up with them. So you don't want to.
You think witches shop at the
Yeah.
Salvation Army? I think they make their own shoes. Witches and gypsies. Gypsies definitely don't buy shoes.
out of
out of the
no.
spirits of
Gypsies
people
might not
like
wear
Ken,
shoes.
I guess.
they wear. Do they wear wooden or do witches wear wooden shoes?
No, I think
make
they
that up.
wear normal shoes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like
Regular
that's like
people's
the
shoes.
German
Yeah.
people. That's like
They're
clogs.
big into
Oh,
Adidas.
German
Yeah.
people.
That's
Yeah.
Nazis wear wooden shoes. Okay, that's where I was getting confused. Now I understand.
Because everybody knows that Jews are afraid of oaks, so they got to wear the wooden
Yeah.
shoes.
hmm
That's
When you
a-
hear
that's a
that
big
click
belief.
clock, you know you're in some trouble.
Jesus Christ.
And not to backtrack, but you made fun of. You said I was gonna die early because of my eating habits.
Yep.
Nah, those
That's
are gonna
absolutely
keep
true.
me longer. I don't have bad eating habits. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Ken has terrible drinking habits. That's And it's not alcohol. It's Monster. There's a 36 pack of Monster in our kitchen currently right now.
For today, just for today.
Now, I know that part of what I'm going to say towards the end of this, you've sort of moved past and expanded on. But let me tell everybody out there, because I know I'm not the only one getting these Snapchats, is Ken will send me these Snapchats when he's at work of like a Dole fruit cup and a little thing of Bang energy drink. And he'll pour the Bang into the fruit cup and then eat the fruit cup. And then you were like pouring shit into a bag of Doritos or something one time.
Oh, there's a can of tuna one that I think is legendary.
Oh my god, I'm glad that I did not see that one. You were like,
it's like a taco in a bag.
Monster with Fruit Loops and stuff like that.
You gotta talk about the bologna one.
Good lord.
Oh, bologna sushi.
Oh, bologna sushi. Yeah, you did show me that one.
Okay, so now I love bologna.
I like bologna.
What's bologna
But
sushi?
the bologna sushi, I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. What's that, Matthew?
What is it? Is it sushi rolled up in bologna, or is it like what is bologna sushi? The people want to know.
The first one was shrimp sushi, and then I cut the bologna around the shape of said sushi, and I stacked it so it was like a sandwich. So it was bologna, sushi, bologna. And then the second one was a little bit more creative. Like I think like the second one would have got me on Chopped. It was bologna, Oreo, sushi, bologna.
I did encourage that one, so that one's on me.
You're a goddamn monster.
I have
with
a
Oh
power.
yeah,
You're mad with
Ken
power.
would have got tired of this bit already if I wasn't there being like, now what if you did this with this?
That's why I think you guys work so well together. That's why I wanted to know exactly when you guys met, because was Ken always the way that he is, Will, or did you push him to be more like that? Did you instigate the situation?
Ken is the most consistent person in my life.
It's adorable, first of all.
Yeah, it is cute.
Yeah, I've had a beard since I was in the 3rd grade, so it's always been there.
Which is the right move.
And
Yeah,
it comforted Will as a young child.
it did. I called him father.
Yeah. Most people did, you know.
Jesus.
Hey, Dad.
Ken's got kids all over the nation. Sounds like some of our uncles.
Oh Jesus.
Shout out to Ronnie Appleseed.
Off color comment.
Yeah, but he's the best though.
So I don't know. So it seems like you guys had mentioned that you checked out some previous episodes of our podcast. I don't know if Andrew had given you any previous information or filled you in on a little segment that we do. I don't know if you heard it or not, called Who Would Win of the Week.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
We're prepared.
we have a Who Would Win of the Week this week. Who was last week?
Last week was Major Chip Hazard.
Oh yeah, we had
versus a
Sam on.
Gremlin.
Okay, yeah, that was
Now,
a good
Sam
one.
and
If you
I
haven't
said
seen that one, definitely
Gremlin,
check
but the
that out.
internet said Chip Hazard by an astounding amount. They all.
I also said Chip Hazard.
Which I respect.
I think the
I
people
respect
just
the voice
usually
of the
side.
people.
I feel like the people usually just side with me though.
That's not true, because if you recall the Cocoa Puffs bird versus the Trix Rabbit is one of
The sample
biggest
size was
pussies
too
in
small.
cereal.
The sample size was too small. All right, to explain. Okay, fuck you. Let the people what
We'll let the people
inform
decide
us
this
of
one.
what this week's inform us of what we've got going down this week.
This week, I think we've got a great matchup, and I'm excited to talk to both of you about it, because I feel like wait a minute. Okay, here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were either of you, mostly I'm looking at Ken, into wrestling as kids?
No.
No.
You really
no.
weren't? I'm glad to hear that. But I'm also a little surprised.
I am surprised to hear Ken wasn't into wrestling.
No.
So the matchup this week is Danny Trejo versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Who would win of the week? These two guys, they're going at it. I mean, who do you got? Who wants to start off?
Can I set up a background?
Okay,
Can I set up a background? They're both walking down the street opposite directions.
And they're both in their
just
prime,
everyday
right?
clothes. Both in their
They're both
prime,
in their prime.
walking
Okay.
down the street opposite directions. And one just gives the other one the wrong look. And they just, all of a sudden, it's time. They're in the middle of the
eyebrow
street.
goes up. The eyebrow goes
Yep.
up. The gloves come off. It's happening. It's on.
The Rock eyebrow.
What
That was
is-
That's a terrible job. That's a terrible job of that.
His eye, it goes up so high.
You look
Okay.
so
It does. It goes like this.
Yeah, it's touching his hairline, his old hairline.
What is each of their primes? Because, like, what are we talking here? Because, like, you could argue The Rock's, like, probably The Rock right now, he's been at home for 4 months
Right.
with nothing to do but work out.
That's a great
Like, he
question.
might be in the best shape of his life right
I
now.
would say that probably like a few years back is Rock in its prime. Because
So we're talking like Fast Five?
yes,
Fast,
Fast
Six,
Five Rock,
Okay.
absolutely. Fast
Okay.
Five Rock. Danny Trejo's prime was in like the 80s, I think, when he was in prison.
Okay. So, like, right out of prison, Danny
Yeah,
Trejo.
straight up.
Fresh
like,
out
this
of
is-
prison.
This
Yes,
they're on the
fresh out of
same
prison.
block. They're on the same block as the prison.
Like,
when
he's
they walk past
he's
each
shaking
other.
hands with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
As this is, he's like, hey, I'll be in all of your movies.
We'll catch up later.
You want to go? I mean, The Rock. The Rock takes it.
Okay. Wrong. Because
No.
let me say
No, I think
this.
I'm right.
No, Danny Trejo could kill any man or woman or beast on the planet.
No.
I right now edit this video and just put the full like 3-minute Fast Five Vin Diesel versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Can I tell you?
Fight
can I,
where they
can I
punch
tell you
through
something?
walls? You tell me Danny Trejo can do
I
that.
will.
Before anybody else goes, I just want to make it clear that I knew exactly who I was picking. I knew the second that actually, once we decided Danny Trejo versus The Rock, I knew who I was taking. But before we settled on that, I knew who Andrew was taking because honorable mention of the week, one of his suggestions was the T-Rex from Jurassic Park versus Danny Trejo.
And it's a
In
toss-up.
Andrew's mind, he thought
I think that's a toss-up.
a dinosaur, the most fierce dinosaur probably ever. Given he doesn't have really arms, but he's a fucking giant-ass dinosaur.
I don't know, man. He got The Land Before Time, like a bunch of kid dinosaurs.
Land Before
killed him,
Time
right?
dinosaurs
They push him
don't
in the
count.
lava.
That's true.
I'm
talking
talking-
about the real deal.
I'm talking
the real
it was
dinosaurs that they
Jurassic
had
Park.
on the set of Jurassic Park. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking. That was mostly a
All right,
joke,
Ken,
although
Ken,
that is
Ken,
the
back
honorable
to
mention
Ken.
of the week. So tell us what
Back to
anybody
Ken.
out there thinks. Let us know.
It's Danny Trejo.
Absolutely. Ken, I knew I could fucking count on you
we're
for
gonna
this.
be a 50-50 split.
So my big point here is drug addiction's really hard, right? Not that any of us have ever gone through it. I don't want to point fingers, but like drug addiction's super hard, and he could beat that. So he could beat anything. A dinosaur, Vin Diesel,
Two
The Rock,
counterpoints.
2 Vin Diesels.
Two counterpoints. One, The Rock played Division I football, and he was a WWE wrestler, and now he's twice as big as he was then.
It's true.
Okay.
Counterpoint to
No,
counterpoint.
that was only 1 point. I have a second point. And he was
That
in
was,
Ballers.
that was 1 point.
And he was in Ballers.
Okay. Fair enough. I
Yeah.
feel like Danny Trejo could have been on Ballers if he wanted to. Danny Trejo can be anytime you are running, producing, directing a show or movie, and Danny Trejo calls you and says, "I'll be in this," you're putting him in it without a doubt. So
Well,
Danny
he
Trejo
doesn't-
could have been in Ballers if he wanted to.
Danny Trejo doesn't. You call Danny Trejo and you say,
Yeah.
"Here, I have this check for $50,000," which I believe is his confirmed price.
Yeah,
we have looked it up.
yeah, we looked
Ken
it
and I
up.
have done research into this.
We were gonna take out a loan.
Did you? Oh
See
my
if you
God.
can get him on Kenspiracy.
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, 100%.
Nah, he's probably, well, if you did that, he'd
Well.
be king of the apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock was like the highest paid actor last year in the whole world, wasn't
What
he?
does that matter?
And you're telling me that a guy who would do any work for $50,000 is going to kick his ass?
Okay, The Rock is insanely strong. We all know that. We've all seen him live.
And that's why he would win.
That's-
I'm glad you've come over to our side.
No, Will. Jesus.
Haven't you ever seen Hobbs
Listen
and
to
Shaw?
me.
The Rock kicks a bionic person's ass.
Okay,
He was
great.
also in Pain and Gain, and that movie sucked.
Okay.
So
yeah,
if I
but
go,
he's pretty
I like
fucking
Pain and
bulky.
Gain.
I like Pain and Gain.
Tony
I like
Shalhoub
Pain
is
and
the
Gain.
fucking man. So anything that he's in, I'm all for, and I like that movie. I like Pain and Gain.
I liked Pain and Gain.
So
That's what
you're on the
yeah.
wrong
No,
podcast.
I like Pain and Gain.
apparently. Okay, look.
Side note,
no side
I have
note.
another.
Listen to me.
Oh fuck. Okay, go ahead.
The Rock.
I don't.
You know,
I know.
he's been. You're listing off a lot of his credits, which are great, and he was in the WWE. You know, we all know that all of these instances where he's fighting people, those are all fake. And I'm sure that even when you can't train for that sort of thing without picking a few things up. So I'm sure that he has. But it's not real. He's not actually beating the shit out
There's
of
a
Vin
song.
Diesel or any of these guys. And
In
I'm
a-
sure that
there's a-
maybe
there's
he
a
could, but he's not actually doing it. And we can't confirm that we can't, be positive about it. We can be pretty
There's
sure.
a DaBaby song where DaBaby says that he's gonna beat somebody up like he's The Rock.
Okay.
Bam.
That's,
Third point. The Rock wins this fight every
no,
time.
he doesn't. Matthew,
I'd like to bring up
here we go.
when Danny Trejo was in prison. A good way that he got clean is he started boxing in the prison boxing league, and he became #1 boxer
In what weight class?
the prison. They don't have weight
Yeah,
classes.
no. I just looked it up. They had weight classes.
Yeah.
He was a featherweight. He was a. This is my
He
point.
was also
It's
lean
too
and mean.
small.
Look, if you have the proper training, then your weight class does not matter. And they're not going to be boxing. They're just
That's
going
not
to
true
be
at all.
fighting each other. It's no holds barred.
Was
baby.
it bare knuckle? The Rock is gonna win this fight. Wait, I gotta look up their dimensions.
The Rock has 11 inches on Danny Trejo.
And you
a
think
lower
Danny
center
Trejo's
of
winning that
gravity,
fight?
man.
That's
Holy
11 more
shit.
inches to believe.
He is
right?
getting The Rock. They call him.
Absolutely.
They call him The Rock. They call him The
Okay,
Rock.
what
Andrew.
happens?
Rocks get smashed, man.
Right. You know
You
what?
can't beat up
If
a
you
rock.
look at nature, what is the Rock? Just rocks in nature. What is the Rock's biggest enemy? Wind.
It's paper.
Paper.
Paper. If a rock can be beaten by paper,
I was gonna say paper too.
then
you
Danny
say
Trejo
wind?
will have no problem. So your argument
Wait,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
The
is
Rock's.
completely
Wait,
void.
hold
Yeah.
on. Yeah, let's
Can
go
we go
back.
to your science lesson? The wind?
The wind.
That's Rock's biggest enemy?
Yes, the
I would
wind
say
is Rock's
rain.
biggest
I would say rain.
rain.
Yeah, it's
okay.
water.
No, rain.
Water.
It's
Yeah,
like
definitely
moving
rain.
water.
Or water.
Yeah.
Yeah, rain or water.
Wind?
Yes, wind.
Oh, yeah, that big rocket. It blew away last week.
It does.
Yeah.
Wind erodes.
Have you
as same
ever
as
seen
water.
wind?
Wind erodes
No,
rock the same
water
as
does.
All right, maybe I misspoke a little there. But but I think wind can beat rocks, real rocks, not the rock, but real rocks. Wind, water, paper, they can all beat the rock. Water would turn to stone if Danny Trejo looked at it the wrong way. He could do that.
Yeah, but the Rock.
Matthew.
But Rock beats scissors, and if
If this is going to be a machete thing, I'm going to lose my mind on you.
it wasn't, but that was
That's
another
pretty
point I
good.
had.
That
That's
actually
pretty
is
good.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
Give credit where credit's due. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very good. All right, couple clicks for that. But if you're in Spy Kids, you're a bitch.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you to... Oh, my God, dude. How dare you go after Spy Kids?
You are a bitch.
Wasn't The Rock
Spy
in the
Kids,
Tooth
bitch.
Fairy
Spy
movie?
Kids-
Right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
Rock played
And
the
that's a
Tooth
good.
Fairy.
He takes care of a child in that movie.
That movie is terrible. That movie's way worse
and in that
than
movie,
Spy
wasn't he a
Kids.
pro football player too?
He was so bad they needed Larry the Cable Guy to save him in the second one.
But if we're gonna go through filmography, like Danny Trejo has certainly been in some dreadful, like Like he was in Granddaddy Daycare recently. Like
Okay.
we got to
okay.
walk down
Let's
this
see.
path.
I don't even know.
Fair enough.
I don't even know what's
Fair enough.
Shit.
But in all those movies,
He was in Desperado.
yes, and in all those movies, even the bad ones, Danny Trejo is still super badass, and his moments are great. You could take them out of some of those movies and still be like, this is not a great movie, but
He's
this
in-
scene with Danny Trejo
Andrew.
is
Andrew.
excellent. Hold on.
He is in.
The Rock was in a bunch of movies. Escape to Witch Mountain, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Journey to the Forbidden Island or the Mysterious Island or whatever. He's
he's only in the second one.
He's not in the
Brendan
first one.
This is Brendan Fraser.
Oh, you're
this is
right.
Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
You're right.
Yeah, don't take away from Brendan Fraser. I'm on your side, but come on.
Did you see that? Did you see
Yes, I
that?
saw
Yeah, he
that.
was in the Dora movie. That's pretty.
He's in
that's pretty
fucking
rough.
Dora.
It doesn't matter.
You're telling me that somebody who's in Dora is gonna kick the Rock's
Yes.
ass?
Yes.
Absolutely. Here's what it comes down to.
No.
Okay, look, we can go back and forth. We've got all these points. We can keep going with this all day long. Here's what it comes down to, straight up. Danny Trejo is a fucking beast. He did time in San Quentin. He was the champion of prison league boxing.
You know what they call San Quentin?
Yes.
San fucking.
Do you think that
So he was probably getting fucked.
No, if there was any sex involved in
He was
prison, with
doing- he
Danny
was probably
Trejo,
doing the
he was
fucking.
doing the fucking. That's just the truth. I don't want to get into that, but that's absolutely the truth, and I think we all know that. Okay. So what it comes down to is Danny Trejo is just a tough motherfucker. Nothing would beat him. Look, The Rock, he's like we said, he's very strong, and I think that he would be able to land some great hits. Great hits. He could really probably hurt Danny Trejo. But Danny Trejo, if he ever got knocked down, he would get back up every single time, no matter what.
Yeah, he gets knocked down, but he gets back up. He drinks a whiskey drink.
I didn't
drinks a
even.
vodka drink.
I thought that The Rock was gonna win before I knew that he was 11 inches taller.
Yeah,
than Danny
I
Trejo.
think we're really
That's not
ignoring the
even
size
a
aspect of this.
question. 11 inches. Do you know how long that is? A foot. Do you know how much longer his arms
Not
are?
a foot.
It's basically a foot.
It's 1 inch away
It's a
from
foot.
a foot.
At
it's a
Subway,
baker's
at
foot.
Subway,
A
that is a
baker's
foot.
foot.
At Subway, 11 inches is a foot.
I honestly don't think that factors in for this particular fight. When you're going up an opponent like when you're against an opponent like Danny Trejo, I don't think that factors in.
Andrew, the best fighters in the world, couldn't fight somebody that were 11 inches taller than him. They couldn't even come close. Even if The Rock has 3/4 the skill in a fight that Danny Trejo would have, he would win. Because he is 11 inches taller than him.
That's just not true.
Are they armed?
Yes, it is. Imagine trying to fight somebody 11 inches taller than you.
Okay.
Do they have weapons? This is important.
Yeah.
No.
this
There's
is
no weapons
bare
involved.
knuckle.
Oh, then it's The Rock all day. Then it's The Rock. All
Yeah.
day.
If they were to have weapons, though, side note, they would just each have a giant wrench.
Okay, then it's definitely Danny Trejo.
No, it's still The Rock. But it doesn't.
Listen to
they
me.
don't have weapons, so it doesn't matter.
Yes,
But they're just both big giant
yes,
wrench
okay.
guys.
We don't have to keep going on about this point. I'm just saying the reason that they don't have weapons is to give The Rock a fighting chance.
Oh my, Nicholas. That is the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever heard.
To be fair, if you said yes, they have weapons, I was gonna switch to
Yeah.
Danny Trejo's side.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Danny Trejo is a expert at throwing knives and using a machete.
And he went to
he can
prison
throw
for
knives.
armed robbery.
Yeah, like
Will, it sounds like Will's coming to our side.
Yeah,
to
but he
Danny
didn't
Trejo.
shoot
No,
anybody.
there's no weapons.
It sounds
I'm
to
on the
me.
Rock side.
It sounds
There's
to
no
me
weapons.
like Danny Trejo's a pussy because he went to jail for armed robbery, which means he had a
I'm gonna lose
weapon and
my
couldn't even
mind.
fight his way out.
not that I would rob something, but if I was gonna, I would
Danny
probably
Trejo,
bring a
I'm
weapon.
calling your ass. I'm
Yeah,
calling
of
your
course.
ass out right now. The Rock has a show, the Gladiator show, where people lift fridges and shit.
Okay. And that's because that show has to be
Danny
appropriate
Trejo
for
would
television.
come on our podcast for $50,000.
The Danny Trejo version
You think
of
The
that
Rock would
show
come on our
would be
podcast for
too
$50,000?
intense for television audiences. They wouldn't be able to see
If we
it.
said, yo, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, will you come on our podcast for $50,000? He would throw $100,000 at us and tell us, I'll give you $100,000 and never fucking talk to me again.
It's not
Danny
about
Trejo would
the
be hands and
money.
knees. 50,000, 50,000.
How?
Well, Danny
I'm
Trejo
just saying,
does a lot for his community, so I don't think we should really knock what he does with
Yeah,
his money
absolutely.
or how he gets
How
his money.
dare you?
I think
Well,
he
now I'm
hires
pissed.
ex-cons
I have nothing
at
to-
his taco factory. Like, I'm just saying
His
he's a pretty
taco
good guy.
factory. He does.
See,
yeah,
His
he's got-
I
donuts
had
are
nothing
pretty good.
against him.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have against him is that there's people in this video chat right now that think that he would beat The Rock in a fight.
because
The Rock, who, by the
those
way, is
people
11
are
inches
right.
taller than
Yeah,
him.
exactly. Two people in this are right.
Dude, I swear to God, if we bring this to Twitter and
The
even
Rock.
one person votes Danny Trejo, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Everybody is
Even
going
if
to
that
vote
person's
Danny
11 inches bigger than you?
Yeah. Because you know what? I would fight. I would try to fight a person that's 11 inches taller than me, and I know he would kick my ass, but I would stand in there because that's what I believe in. But he would kick my ass because he's 11 inches taller than me. Guaranteed.
Sorry, you cut out for a second, but I'm pretty sure you said that you apologized for being wrong and you agree that Danny Trejo would win.
No.
Bad internet connection, but
If there's
thank you
one thing
for-
I don't do, it's apologize for being wrong. Refuse.
I can speak to that. That is absolutely true. There's only, we're going to have
Well,
to, apparently.
I don't think this is ever going to get decided.
Yeah,
I think it's
evidently
going to
not.
have to, for the third, maybe fourth consecutive week, it's going to have to be decided by the internet, which is just, I hate leaving it up to the people of the internet because a lot of them are dumb.
Look,
Not the ones voting for The Rock, though.
Not
They're
the-
very smart, very
Yeah,
intelligent.
those people
Don't
are
try to
geniuses.
buzz-
very attractive.
okay. The people
They're going to make a lot of money in life.
Yeah, the people that fall for you buttering them up are the people that would vote for The Rock because they're the people that are stupid.
If you're not,
and the
I
smart
bet the
people,
people
if you're
voting for The
not-
Rock are Tauruses. Just saying.
if you're not worthless,
Tauruses.
Like the turtle?
if you have any ounce of worth on this earth,
you're voting for
then
Danny
you would
Trejo.
vote for The Rock.
Absolutely
Side
not.
question: have
Okay.
either of you either swayed the other person or anyone on the podcast, or you just yell at them?
Matthew got me to admit
Mostly
that
yelling.
Wayne Gretzky would beat Wayne Brady in a fight.
Oh yeah.
Which was tough for me to admit, but I did end up seceding his point in that instance, but that's been the only time.
What about who did you pick, Doctor Strange or Rick Sanchez?
I think we all picked Rick for that one.
That was a good one. No, it's
Yeah.
mostly just yelling though.
Yeah, but in this case,
Curious. That was all.
in this case, it's legitimate because Danny Trejo would in fact win, and The Rock would. I mean, it'd be a good fight, I'm sure, but The Rock would also.
You know what?
Lose. What, Matthew?
I wish that we could bring Danny T back a few years. And we could just throw him in a ring. Because that would be one hell of a fight. Because I'm
That
not
would be
saying
a-
that he wouldn't keep getting back up. But the Rock would just punish him. Punish him.
And I just don't think that you guys are giving Danny Trejo enough credit. I think he would absolutely.
I
win
don't
that
think it
fight.
would
He
be.
take
I don't think it would
in
be
the end.
like easy. I just think it would come down to a size thing. He could just crush Danny Trejo like a skyscraper from the hit film
11 inches,
Skyscraper.
Andrew. 11
Okay.
inches.
But he's not a superhero. He's close.
Think about somebody, Andrew.
He's basically
Think about
a super-
somebody
he's
that's
gonna play a Black Adam, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 think about
Okay,
somebody who's
but
11
Zachary-
inches taller than you.
Zachary Levi plays Shazam, and Danny Trejo could kill Zachary Levi, with like his pinky finger. I have to imagine. So playing a superhero doesn't count. The Rock, close to a superhero in real life.
What about
but he's
Christian
not.
Bale?
What about Christian Bale?
Do you think? Oh, never mind. That's an easy W for Trejo too.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's the thing. The Rock is one of the only people
All right.
that would give Trejo a fair fight. But we'll lock in our answers here. We'll go around the horn just one time real quick. We all know, but let's just give everybody a chance to say it out loud. Matthew, go ahead with your pick.
I will be taking the correct answer, which would be Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay, respectfully disagree. Ken and Will, lock them in. Lock in the answers.
No, you go.
You go. I insist, Will.
It's The Rock, and Ken's also secretly voting for The Rock.
I have changed my opinion. It's The Rock.
Are you fucking kidding me, Ken? Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
Now, I will say, if this is Danny Trejo when he was still on drugs, 100% Danny Trejo. But
Okay.
I don't know. I gotta go The Rock.
Oh my God! At 2, Kenneth. At 2, you son of a bitch. You guys are crazy. Danny Trejo. I'm locking in the answer right now.
Is 11 inches shorter than The Rock.
That does not matter in this particular instance because Danny Trejo is a
How
born
does it
killer.
not matter?
Danny Trejo.
I really wanted to agree with you, but as Matthew keeps on saying, 11 inches. I know a guy who was about a foot bigger than me, and every time I look at him, I think this guy could wreck me. I'm 6'2", and this guy could just wreck me. So yeah, I gotta go with The
It's
Rock.
me. I'm 7 feet
Yeah,
tall.
Will is 7 feet tall.
Wow. Okay. Well, everybody
Okay,
out there.
I'll give you.
Speak. Please,
Okay,
let
here's
me know. Let me
quick
know that I'm
honorable
not alone
mention,
here.
not to bring it back up,
Okay.
but to even out the fight. Danny Trejo on stilts. Maybe he lands one punch.
How,
But that's
I
the
feel
other way.
like
Alright,
the
move on.
stilts are a
Yeah,
hindrance.
yeah,
yeah, I
I
don't
think you're
think that
getting
would
what you
help
want from
him.
the stilts.
so maybe if Trejo's on stilts, The Rock has a chance. Maybe. But I want to.
So okay, so we.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
So we got the answers locked in. We'll put out a poll on Twitter. We'll see what the people actually think, and I'm sure that
Well, now you're
justice
outvoted, so we
will
actually don't even need
prevail. Justice will prevail. The truth will come out. You can't hide from it. Here's a question I had for you guys. Obviously, I want to ask this question because I don't know the answer. But it leads me into the other question that I really want to ask you guys, which one is, did you guys meet Brendan Lynch at Fredonia? Because he did a lot of the conspiracy stuff on the show. You guys had him back on the podcast, which is one of my favorite episodes for sure. And I mean, the guy's funny as fuck. I mean, so did you guys meet him at school, or how did?
Yeah, I thought the first time we met him was at the day we announced Kenspiracy at the WNYF open house in February 2016, January 2016. Then it turns out Brendan and I later realized we met in a bathroom. This is not a bit. This is not a joke. When I was a freshman, so we did the show when we were juniors into seniors, but when I was a freshman, one of my suite mates on campus had like a high school senior come and tour Fredonia and stay the night in his room, and it was Brendan. And we didn't realize that we had crossed paths once before when I was brushing my teeth, and he came in to brush his teeth, and I said, "Hey," and he said, "Hey." And that was when I met Brendan. And then 2 years later, we worked together on a show, and he became a very good friend of mine.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, you never know you're going to meet in a bathroom. That
is great, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us have to learn that the hard
Yeah,
way.
that's true. I met Jack Eichel in a bathroom one time.
Well, you didn't meet him in the bathroom. You followed him into the bathroom.
I followed him into a bathroom one
We
time.
saw Jack Eichel at this restaurant, and we were like, "Is that Jack Eichel?" And Matthew's like, "Let me check." And he followed him, and Jack went into the bathroom.
It was Jack Eichel.
Can confirm.
We peed next to each other, but there was I didn't get a pee.
Yeah,
or anything.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
If he's
So I have a question, and I've asked this to guests before, specifically once. from Fredonia that have known Andy. Do either of you guys have any really good like Andy stories, like something hysterical that happened, or just something super stupid that he did
Probably not.
in your time with him, like when he was out in Fredonia or during a filming or something like that?
That's gonna be you. That's all you.
God, I feel like there.
I know I put you on the spot a little bit.
I feel like there is one, right? Fuck.
I'm not saying anything.
See,
Come on, Andy.
Was always just like
Just
the
plant
chill
the
guy
seed
in
for
the
him.
corner,
Plant the
just being
seed.
like, I'm super chill. What's up?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm such a cool person that it's kind of hard to come up with stories like this about me.
I do feel like there was something. I just forget. I don't know. I forget what it was.
I'm glad.
Well, if it comes back to you,
I can think of two things that I did in front of Ken that I wouldn't want anybody knowing.
All right,
come on, plant the seed. Don't be a dick.
Now you gotta let me know. Come on.
Well, the one was, Ken.
Plant the seed and then see if Ken remembers it.
Okay. I don't know if he will, because I don't know if Ken will remember these. But so Ken has he collects swords and knives and that.
Collect
sort of
is a weird word. I get a lot of swords as gifts. I don't pursue them.
There are like five
People look
swords
at you and
hanging
they're
up
like,
in our apartment.
People look at him and they're
so,
like, this guy really must like swords.
When I went to their apartment in Fredonia the one time, this was before I was. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. But Ken had these two swords on the wall that they were like these hook swords.
Still on
Is
the
there a
wall
name for
here.
those?
Yep. Chinese
Those
hook
are-
swords.
Those are great swords. And I grabbed them off the wall, and I put them over an X in my head, and I just started screaming, "I'm a machine! I'm a machine!" And then we were like walking around outside, and he wouldn't let me take the swords outside, but I was still screaming about how I'm a machine. Shout out to
Probably a good
Uncle
idea.
John. Hey, there they are. Oh my gosh. Look at those things are so cool.
Wow.
Do you hold them together like that? Is that how they're
It makes one big sword?
No, you like the art style is you hook them together in the fighting style, and you like can swing them. So they have like a
That's not
12-foot
true.
radius you hook together, and when they're sharp, you can like
Oh, like you swing one out?
take out
fucking with me.
kneecaps. No, like I can't use them. Like my sister got them for me.
Well, I hope you can't use them. That's probably why that fucking witch thought that you were going to do bad shit to people, because you got a fucking house full of swords.
We do have a house.
She
full of
was a
swords.
ghost,
do.
first of all. She was a ghost.
Yeah,
The ghost witch. That's why the
witch.
ghost witch.
yeah,
Yeah.
same.
The
thing.
witch's ghost. We know
I
that's a
don't
thing
remember
because of
you-
Scooby-Doo, so can't confirm.
I don't remember you swinging them and saying that you're a machine. It must have just been a normal Tuesday for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't. What was the second one? Maybe that one's
The
better.
second one, sometimes, I haven't done this in a long time because I don't really drink very much these days, but sometimes when I get very drunk, I sing this song from this Pizza Hut commercial. There's this great Pizza Hut commercial. Do you remember this at all,
Yes,
Ken?
yes, I do.
Do you really? There's this
I do.
Pizza Hut commercial. If you have if anyone out there has a VHS copy of the first live-action Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, this is one of the previews at the beginning of the video cassette tape. It's a Pizza Hut commercial about a Little League team. There's a cameo in it by the guy who plays Goldberg in the Mighty Ducks movie. He plays the catcher
Goldberg.
in this. There you go. And I would just sing that song as loud as I possibly could in parking lots, walking around the streets. It's such a great,
Wait, go.
yeah.
How does it go? Can you
How does it
I
go?
would
My memory?
actually, yes, I'd be very happy to. I'm glad to get this on tape for everybody to go. I'm gonna have to get in the proper mood to sing it again. You know, I have to remind you, I usually sing this when I'm, not sober.
Inebriated of sorts.
Inebriated of sorts, one could say that. So it's this, I cannot stress enough, this is one of my favorite commercials of all times. So if you have a VHS copy of Ninja Turtles, which I know there's one in the basement where Matthew is right now, I recommend finding, or you can find the commercial on YouTube. But it speaks to me because I played Little League for one season, and I played in right field because I was terrible. And this is a song that goes out to all the right fielders in the world. Off in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's strikes on the batter, some runners are on. Then suddenly everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wandering, what could it be? I look to the sky and I hold out. I look to the sky.
Drop this in.
Yeah.
And there's... I'm sorry. I know, I messed up. I haven't sung it in so long. It's hard to remember the words when you're sober. I'll take it from the top. Now I'll go back one. Then suddenly everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wandering. What could it be? They point to the sky and I look up above. And a baseball falls into my glove. I play right field. It's important, you know. You gotta know how to catch. You gotta know how to throw. That's why I play in right field, way out where the dandelions grow. Pizza Hut is a proud
remember that.
So what does
sponsor
that
of
have to
Little
do with
League.
pizza?
Making it great. Because Pizza Hut is a proud sponsor of Little League.
I don't remember where we were.
That was it.
But I don't know if you do, if you want to refresh that part of my memory. But I do remember you singing that, yeah.
That's a great song. That's one of my favorites.
Was the song in real life sang with kind of an Irish twang, or did you throw that on there as your own personal spin?
You know, I kind of like to make it my own, so I did toss that bit in.
Yeah,
there.
that's fine.
It's good.
I like it better that way.
It fits perfectly.
If I remember correctly, you were a little sloshed. You were a little half in the bag, and you started singing that, and I had no idea what you were singing, because I did not own that VHS. And then I remember, I think we were in a parking lot, and you had your phone. You're like, no, you got to see this video. Like, you got to see this commercial, and you just wouldn't let up about it. And then you showed it to me.
Yeah, because it's a great
Good
commercial.
times. Yeah.
It absolutely is. We'll find it. We'll tweet. We're going to tweet a link to that commercial, actually.
Yeah, we're definitely tweeting that. We're tweeting that video, and we're tweeting the clip. I want the clip of you singing it on there, too.
All right, fair enough.
Some
We'll leave in
auto-tune
the
to
bit
that?
link.
I think you could drop an album.
Yeah, you should.
This is the start.
See what Ivy League's doing.
Yeah, I'll call up our buddies at Ivy League. Check them out on the podcast.
So we've been going for a little over an hour now. But before we wrap it up, you guys want to say a little bit more about your podcast and everything? I know you kind of gave a background for it, but talk about where you can find it and maybe when there's more to come, stuff like that for people if they're interested in listening.
You want me to take it?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're the best at it.
We are on every major podcast app. If you listen on iTunes, we're there. If you listen on Spotify, we're there. If you listen on like random podcast apps, we have an RSS feed. You can find us there. We have a YouTube channel, and I did do the first 3 episodes, and I'm gonna get the rest of them up. I swear. It just takes forever to render it in After Effects with the audio meter I want, but they'll be there. But if you're just starting, literally as we hit record on this episode of your show, we published a best of season 1 episode that's about an hour long, that takes some of our favorite sketches from all 10 episodes. So you can just jump in there to kind of get a feel for the show, without having to listen to a whole 40 to 50 minute episode. With all the bad bits. There's no bad bits. Yeah,
I can think of a couple.
Let's be real.
I'm just kidding.
All right. There's 2 bad bits. We cut the really bad ones. There was
Oh God, those are what you got to release those. 'Cause I
No,
bet they're awesome.
we had a bunch of planned bits that we had to drop because they didn't make it in episode 1. There was specifically one we planned last summer that was like it was like apocalypse around the world, I think, and it was going to be checking in with how the rest of the world was handling the apocalypse. And we did not do that bit for obvious reasons.
And then another one is I wrote a news story that it wasn't bad. It was just really weird. And we just kept on skipping it every episode. We were like, not this week, not this week.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Yeah.
No, not this week either. Anyway, this is long-winded. Yeah, find us wherever. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Maybe I'll update the Facebook page someday. It's still just for the TV show. Go watch our TV show too. That's still pretty good.
Oh yeah, you guys. There's a lot of good stuff on that TV show. I've only ever watched the episodes that I'm in because everybody says that those are the best ones. But
the finger gun sketch you're in is I rewatch every now and then. I think if the finger gun sketch has its own video, go watch the finger gun PSA. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Well, that was what actually I was going to ask you guys
guns.
about the, because one of the very famous episodes of the TV show is the Puppet World episode. And I know that Kenspiracy is obviously your, the podcast takes place in a different universe than the TV show. It's well documented that there's a Kenspiracy multiverse. Is the Puppetverse going to show up at all?
I don't know if Puppetverse works in an audio form.
Yeah.
It's tough to do. Yeah.
Fair.
It's just voices, which we've already done a little bit of. Not well, but we've done it. Yeah, maybe we're meeting to talk about season 2 in the next week or two. That should be, I don't know, late July or August. We'll start making episodes again. It's just it just takes a lot of work. It's not the each to like 45-minute episode is like probably 7 or 8 hours of work before and after. So yeah, so we're just taking a break to get our creative juices going again.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Replenish on all that Bang energy drink.
We don't. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. There's not much creative juice that flows in the 2 in the cooler setting. It's kind of just whatever. Whatever happens that day, it's kind of what we go into. But anyway, thank you guys a ton. Yeah. Thank you guys a ton for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have you guys back on sometime because I want to.
Yeah, you say the word.
Definitely,
ask you about
some
other things. I'm curious
if
to hear your
if you
opinions
guys start back up because I know that season 1 just ended. Mm-hmm. So before you guys start back up with the second season, I don't know when you guys are planning that, but we should definitely have you back on. So just so everybody remembers, check out Kenspiracy. Check them out on all their different podcast sites. Check them out on YouTube. Check out the TV show. Check them out on socials. We'll get some of that stuff out. Yep, they're showing us the merch right now. So if you're watching our YouTube channel, check that out.
These are a limited edition run that we did roughly 40 minutes after you texted us about being on the show last week.
Okay.
But if you want to send us $50,
No. We actually will. We actually are going to have merch soon, like actual merch, not just like let's quickly make some t-shirts with the podcast art. So we'll have announcements about that on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect, cuz that's a cool logo. I think
so we'll get their socials tagged in on when we release this stuff. That way we make it easy for you guys to find them. As far as the 2 in the cooler goes, I enjoyed this episode. I think Andy had fun too. There was some good parts to it. If you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, definitely check that out. We had Sam Phillips on. It was really funny. And then make sure you check out the 2 in the cooler socials, Twitter and Instagram, and then our YouTube channel as well. You got any closing remarks? Any of you? All 3 of you? Any last words?
Danny
Trejo
make sure
for
you
president? Vote for The Rock.
Yes. Fuck you, Andrew.
No, as
pizza
far as
tipping is
political,
weird.
Pizza tipping.
Pizza tipping
Shout out
is
to all
weird,
my pizza tippers out there. listening right now. There are dozens of us.
We're going to make when we do our merch drop, aside from our Two in the Cooler, we were going to have Two in the Cooler shirts, we're going to have Craig shirts, and we're going to have pizza tipping shirts. Those are 3 merch drops. I just made that up in my brain.
Right. Thank you guys for coming on. It's good to see you guys.
Thank you.
So
We'll
look
talk
forward
Thanks for
to
having
it.
us.
We'll get out of here. See you later. Thanks for listening,
Thanks
everybody.
a ton.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
2 brothers, 2 viewpoints,
nailed
2 in the Cooler.
Way to sneak that in.
Nailed it. Every time.
Bye.
See you guys.
Thank you guys for listening. And again, this episode comes to you in affiliation with Instacart. Hit the link in the show notes, and Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on your first order of $35 or more. I recommend having them pick up a frozen pizza for you so you can eat it right on the tips of your fingers. Pizza tipping. Guys, it's a thing. It's out there now. Spread the word. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.